Today is Juneteenth, and because, for a combination of reasons, many Americans still don't know much about this holiday, and because of the context of the protests that are going around the country, there's a chance that this might be the breakthrough moment where more predominantly white Americans will finally learn what this holiday is about. And I'm particularly calling out the president, who apparently had no idea what it was as of about 72 hours ago. We thought we would just go over a little bit of information about this holiday and some of what's being done in regard to it this year. So Juneteenth, also known as Emancipation Day, Black Independence Day, or Jubilee Day, celebrates the end of slavery after the Civil War, although President Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation had legally accomplished that within the Confederacy more than 2 years earlier. It was on June 19th, 1865, that Major General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas, and announced the end of the Civil War and of slavery. So it's marking the end, but it's also drawing focus to the fact that even once all of this had been done, it still persisted. It was still clung because people were so desperate to maintain this barbaric system that it took multiple years for it to actually be ended in fact, let alone all of what happened basically at the exact same time to basically create slavery anew in a new form. But basically it marks that. And despite the fact that, that was a very long time ago, it began as a Texas holiday in 1980. It is now recognized by 47 states and the District of Columbia as a state holiday or observance, and is marking its 155th anniversary this year. But it's still not taught in most schools, nor is the event a federal holiday, despite decades of pushing from activists. And one would imagine that if you were to think about philosophically what national federal holidays are for, sort of commemorating important events, hypothetically, the ending of slavery seems like it more than meets that criteria.
But John, you would have to be proud of it.
That's true.
To celebrate it. And I don't think there are a lot of people, particularly in certain regions of the country, who are happy that that happened. So it would be tough for them to celebrate it.
That's true.
But let's just give people the day off, man. Give them the day off, and that is the kind of incentivization for people to appreciate and enjoy something that's needed. I mean, that's why I love Christmas as a Hebrew. I love Christmas because they always gave me 2 weeks off. So maybe that's the kind of positive Pavlovian reinforcement that we need to give racists to be like, well, at least you get the day off.
Well, yes, fine.
These are jokes,
also,
John.
I understand that. Hypothetically, let's also learn about it. Let's take it as a moment to acknowledge the formal, or I guess the effective end of slavery, but also to talk about and teach and make sure that people understand what slavery is actually like, especially as we are in the midst of a multi-decades-long effort by the right to sort of rewrite what slavery was, why it existed, why whites fought to maintain it, what the relationship between slaves and those who brutalized them actually were. All of that is going on. None of that counts as propaganda to the right. Any effort, which hopefully is coming, to make sure that kids around the country learn about Juneteenth and about slavery will almost certainly be branded as propaganda. But that fight needs to be had.
At the same time, those people who would fight against Juneteenth's celebration as propaganda are also fighting tooth and nail to save statues of the Confederacy and names on bases which are explicitly propaganda and then Trump had the nerve the other day, maybe yesterday, to say that that I want to get the term right, but he said that the Confederate monuments are symbols of healing, I believe is what he said. No, the actual propaganda that is trying to push people down who were the victims of slavery, and then also prop people up who are the ones who just won't let a 5-year failed campaign of independence go. That fought for slavery. Those are the people that it's intended to prop up. Why can't we just celebrate the good things?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so someone in the comments asked, what are those 3 states that don't have it as a holiday? So those are Hawaii, North Dakota, and South Dakota, that as of right now do not. I guess it's possible that, with the focus that we have on these sorts of issues, maybe something could be done on the state level there to make it a holiday. I do know that as of this morning, Senate Democrats introduced legislation to make it a national holiday federally, so across the country. Doesn't seem like it'd be controversial, but this is America and it's 2020, so I have a feeling it's probably not going to go far, as ridiculous and insane as that is.
Right. The other day, Swalwell tried to get Gates to just say the words Black Lives Matter, and he wouldn't. He wouldn't say it.
Yep.
He had to go straight to All Lives Matter. It's these things where that the right thinks is a victory for them, but I can't believe that there are souls in the United States who don't think it makes them look completely stupid and, to a non-zero extent, evil.
Yeah. Gates and them, they are extremists, and they are captured by even more radical extremists, where, like, Gates knows, and he's being pragmatic. Were he to simply look into the camera and say, Black Lives Matter, he would be primaried, and that would be used against him in a probably very effective ad in a Republican primary.
And at the same time, Tucker Carlson says that it's the left that is the thought police that won't let you say things, that is policing what you say rhetorically.
Exactly. So anyway, it's likely that, especially if someone watching this is from outside of the U.S., but even if you grew up in vast portions of the U.S., you probably don't know much about this holiday. But certainly, take this as an opportunity to go and learn more. And I say that, sort of alluded to this in the beginning, partially because there are a lot of people, even in incredibly prominent positions in this country, that don't know about it.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.